morning again, and welcome to Frontier Opening Bell, our edition for this Monday morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Temple Ashajo. We've got today Agnes Gitao, our partner at GBS Africa. Agnes, good morning. Thank you for coming through. We also have Bosin Omofaye joining us from Lagos, Nigeria. Bosin is our executive editor here at Frontier Africa Reports. Good morning, Bosin. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
Now let's look at the markets from where we settled last week. On a week-to-date basis, the Nigerian exchange was down 0.12%. BRVM stock exchange, BRVM exchange in Côte d'Ivoire was also down 0.24%. That was on Friday. The EGX in Egypt was on Sunday positive by 81 basis points. Nairobi Securities Exchange was positive, leaping by 1.96% on a week-to-date basis. And Johannesburg Stock Exchange was down by 1.49%, plunged to 66,529.53 on Friday specifically. So that's a one-day analysis there. Now let's delve into the headlines from the East African markets, where Rwanda in total virus lockdown for 10 days. Coffee price rises 6.9% at auction on weather woes. Alex Gitari confirmed as the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at Kenya Airport Authority. Ethio Telecom's earnings. We have 18.4% revenue growth to 56.5 billion bears. That's for the full year ending July 2020-2021 full year report. IFC invests $1.2 million in Tanzania 5-year corporate bond. Merge Exchange, Atlanta Portfolio Limited, paying 0.0215 cents per in dividend to that's for the second quarter of the year. I'll start with you, Agnes. You are currently in the eastern part of Africa at the moment. Give us a sense of your understandings of these headlines and why you make a choice.
Good morning from East Africa capital, Nairobi. It's great to be here. Allow me to start with the story from Tanzania, where IFC invested about $1.2 million in Tanzania's 5-year corporate bond. This is towards affordable housing by Tanzania Mortgage Refinance Company. So IFC invested about $1.2 million. This a total of $3.8 million was raised in what was oversubscribed. A bond that was oversubscribed. This is Tanzania's efforts towards affordable housing, offering mortgages. Remember, mortgage uptake in the region and the African continent is very low. So hopefully these will support Tanzania's move towards affordable housing. A lot of East African countries are also looking into that. They've established really creative products like real estate rates and others, really targeting at affordable housing. Rwanda in total virus lockdown for 10 days. This was, I think they locked down since Friday, the 17th. And obviously this is in an effort to curb the spread of the virus, which obviously has been quite serious in the region. Here in Nairobi, rates are rising, the South African rates are rising. So I guess there's no other choice but to take this really decisive measure and locking down the whole country 10 days. And if you compare the rates for Rwanda, which is way smaller than Kenya, you can say they're doing way better than other countries in the region. But this is towards curbing the spread of the virus. The other story is Ethio Telecom, a revenue of 18.4%. I guess as we saw during lockdown, digital and telecom companies all really had positive revenue reports. I guess because everybody really focused on online and digital products, but also Ethio Telecom has introduced new products, and also according to their CEO, this is due to great customer service and innovative products that the company has introduced into the market.
Thank you very much, Agnes, for those insights provided there. Bosin, it's your turn.
Well, just a quick touch around the Ethio Telecom earnings. We're now fully in the earnings season. So 18.4% revenue growth for full year. That was last year. Let's see what the numbers will look like for this year with Safaricom, Vodacom consortium now in the field of on the field of play in Ethiopia, and perhaps other players could still be licensed within the new period, the new horizon that Ethiopia is looking at for its telecommunication industry. Perhaps MTN will be able to join the fray at some point. So next year, we'll see how the market, the numbers look like for Ethio Tel, which has been the dominant player within the Ethiopian telecommunication industry. And now that you have some other big names coming in from Vodacom, from Southern Africa, from East Africa as well, which is Safaricom. The IFC invested in Tanzania is good business. IFC supports corporate bond issuers, sovereign bond issuers. They have their own specialized bonds, sometimes are floated in every jurisdiction. For example, in Nigeria, they have a Niger bond, which was floated a few years ago. It's all about this private sector lending arm of the World Bank deepening the frontier Africa's debt market, by the way. And I love the coffee prices story, by the way. Once prices go up, farmers, I hope they get a whole lot better value for their sweat. But the weather conditions is another situation entirely. The climate change situation is upon us. You can see all over the news, Western Europe, Germany, France, a lot of Netherlands. You're talking about 200 deaths already and more. So the weather conditions, the adverse weather conditions is going to affect and it's starting to impact world food production and output. Not to talk about the problems we have with logistics and the supply chain. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bosin. Thanks a great deal, Agnes. Let's move on to the West African and Nigerian markets. China starts 1,980 kilometers Niger-Benin Republic oil pipeline. Petrol price surges 28.49% year-on-year to 165.61 naira per liter in June. FCMB enthrones the seventh CEO, and she's a female. It's a female. That's in Nigeria. Japan Gold's delayed submission of second quarter results. United Capital first half profits up by 64.2% to 3.14 billion naira. Cote d'Ivoire has got Setao paying dividend of 16.15 CFA franc net per share. Bosun, let's hear your thoughts on these corporate headlines. And
well, Temple, I'm gonna leave the female CEO to Agnes because they are the one they're taking over the Nigerian banking space right now. So, as I said, I'm looking forward to the first female central bank governor after Godwin Emefiele. Mm-hmm. But right now, the women are winning, so they're getting more. I think something is changing here. But let me just go straight to the China story. Between Niger, between the Agadez Rift Basin and in Niger, and piping this oil all the way through Benin Republic, bypassing Nigeria. The initial plan for the Chinese was to do this pipeline project with Nigeria. The Nigerian government is really enthused in working out a relationship with Niger direct to the northern part of the country. Now it looks like a whole lot of problems within Nigeria could most possibly be part of why the Chinese is moving this. You see, and this is part of the issue, Temple. Investments and business has no friend, politically religious speaking, Temple. It's either hard money on the ground and you are ready for business. Look, if you're going to pipe this thing through Nigeria, for example, you can think of how some of the political issues you have to go across the various states, the federal government and what have you, the various agencies of the government, perhaps within security. Even the pipeline will not be able to be laid on time. Now, Niger Republic, no matter how close it is to Nigeria, in the matter of whatever speaking, they were not going to sit down and be looking at this business development go to waste because they've got a particular affinity or whatever with either the current administration or the current president of Nigeria. So they're going to move it and say, look, let's take a business decision, bypass Nigeria instead of routing it straight down through to Nigeria. Take it through Benin Republic, which is a whole lot more quiet in terms of security, in terms of banditry, in terms of political stability, and then just get on to do business. So now this is one big loss for Nigeria, if you ask me, because if you take this through Nigeria, you know what jobs this would have created on the ground and a whole lot of that. So we just lost one major thing because we have a whole lot of problems on our plate and we're just unable to resolve them. And that takes me straight to the petrol prices, which went up. This is a backward-looking figure, by the way, for the month of June. With the subsidy issue is still there, because it hasn't been removed, it has helped us to moderate our core inflation number for the month of June, which we had last week. We're going to see how this pace are moving forward, Tempo.
Thank you very much, Bosun. Agnes, we're seeing more gender inclusiveness in recent times across Africa, and especially in the financial services sector. One or two comments to make to that.
Temple, we said what men can do, women can do better, but it's absolutely positive to see participation of women folks in the economic activity. I think it's about time, and it's certainly not because of gender. I think it's, as we spoken here before, it's because of the fact that they are equally capable given a chance. So provide equal playing field for women and men, and you're going to get the best in the market. It's quite a great thing to see FCMB promote a woman CEO in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. And as Bosun has been aspiring, we do hope that we'll have a female central bank governor in Nigeria very soon. I know that one of the executives just retired last week. She played a very significant role all through the period of Lamido Sanusi down to the current administration. She was active in the risk sector. That would be Falakemi Fatogbe. Hopefully she'll be brought back to do something in that sphere. I don't know, it's just a speculation. Let's move on. Thank you very much. South African markets, where Namibia's new vehicle sales was up by 9.9% year on year in the month of June. JP Morgan, riots will push South Africa into 3% squeeze in the third quarter of this year. Massmart, 41 stores looted, 4 seriously burnt. Many black-owned SME may not survive unrest. In Zimbabwe, distributed Power Africa Total in solar power deal. This is some kind of a collaboration between these two entities. I'll start with you, Agnes, as usual. Hear your thoughts, and then we cross over to Bosun for his comments.
Well, I guess the leading stories from South Africa is just the continued riots following Jacob Zuma's arrest. And I say it on a different platform that this really pushes South Africa further down after, Cyril Ramaphosa tried to come up with structures to try and see South African economy recover. These riots, they have some... In my view, I don't think it's just because of Jacob Zuma. I think it's partly because of an economy that has struggled for decades. You would argue that this has been contributed by Jacob Zuma's 10 years, where he completely pushed the economy to the drain, through corruption and graft. But suddenly, country that was already struggling. Remember last year, the economy is contracted by 7%. They were expected to recover. There was some hope that they would recover by about 3 or so percent. But the riots have seen obviously pushes that. And it's going to be a difficult time. Again, the impact of COVID-19. South Africa is one of the economies that has been greatly affected by COVID-19 crisis. So combined with the riots and the chaos you're seeing in the streets, it will be a tough time. It will take a long time to recover, and it's a pity. It's one of the model economies most of us from Southern Africa have always emulated or wished that our countries would be. Again, a sad story to see many Black-owned SMEs, that really have always struggled, given the years of apartheid, and the South African policy to try and promote Black-owned businesses. Again, rioters really don't choose. They are burning down and looting any business, and most of these obviously will be the Black-owned SMEs. Look, a tough time for the economy. I mean, Namibia's vehicle sales up. That's a good story. Up 9.9% for the in June. I don't know where people are buying cars during lockdown, but at least it's a positive story coming from that region. Distribution Power Africa and Total Power Africa is supported by USAID, the American government. Renewable energy is the way forward, and it's great to see Total, mostly involved in fossil power, to see them investing in solar energy. It's a good story, and I think way forward, renewable will be key in the next decade or so.
Absolutely. And I'm really surprised that the way people are buying cars, new cars, not even used cars in Namibia, as you mentioned, 843 cars, I understand, were sold in the month of June alone. And as you also mentioned, Agnes, indeed, South Africa is a model economy in Africa. Bosun, let's hear your thoughts. Perhaps you'd like to take off from where Agnes left it off.
Sometimes maybe I wish I'm in Namibia. I could have picked up a new car as well, enjoying those who ride new cars on the street of Namibia. But again, when you look at the COVID-19 cases and infestations spread in that country and the speed at which folks were buying, I think that country must have some very ultra-rich individuals who are just buying cars quietly and putting them back in their garages and what have you. So maybe that's why. Again, keep an eye on your neighbors. Temple, you never can tell whether they're making big money in your backyard and they're living a better life than you. So keep an eye across the fence and just keep an eye on your neighbors. South Africa is not looking good by all indications, and the rest of Southern Africa will feel it. The rest of Africa will feel it one way or the other, because South Africa is such a very huge gateway into Africa from the southern corridor all the way to East Africa. So keep that in mind, everyone, with this riot and unrest. We understand that some of the stores are reopening, they are restocking according to latest reports this morning so that they continue in business. The insurance is going to be heavy. Temple, look out for their third quarter numbers. And fourth quarter for this year, Massmart, the likes of ShopRite, Woolworth, the rest of them is going to be very, very terrible. The South African brewers are going to be in the water this year. It's going to be the total bottom of the bottle for them this year. So just keep that in mind. So when you put all of this together and you look at the retail sales numbers, you're going to look at the wholesale number, you're going to be looking at the PPI and other data. It's not going to look, and the PMI is not going to look really good for the second half of the year for South Africa. Let's keep that in mind when the numbers start coming in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bosin, and we certainly will discuss those earnings by the time they are released during the season. Thank you so much. Let's move on to Northern African markets. US Bevy acquires Egyptian startup Eventos. Telecom Egypt launches voice call service Volta Tech. Cairo for investment and real estate development. Profit rises by 425 million Egyptian pounds. Ennakl grows profit by 96.68% to over 274 million dinars in the first half of 2021. Adoha sees favorable developments in half-year consolidated income. Let's hear your thoughts first, Bosin, and get some finishing comments from Agnes.
Once you have your earnings season, Temple, you see a whole lot of names coming through on your radar. So Adoha, Ennakl, Cairo for investment and real estate, profit rises 425 million, Ennakl profit 96.68 in Morocco. That's quite a whole lot. Look at, in Tunisia, that's a good to diners there. That's the currency. And then you look at the Egyptian startup. Allow Agnes speak to the telecoms. The Bevy acquisition of Egyptian startup Eventos. Egypt, apart from Nigeria, Kenya, a bit in Ghana as well. Egypt is another destination where you're seeing a whole lot of startups being acquired or raising capital for. And I think last week, one of the startup in terms of a boys on a bike, blue bags, carrying this food delivery, got about $10 million US dollars, 10 million as a Series C funding. That was last week. So I'm not surprised. You are seeing a whole lot of these startups, young folks, not too young folks in Africa, and I think it's good news for them right now. And if you have the US private equity and others coming into Egypt, it looks like there's good business, and there's always good money, chasing good business in every environment.
Thank you very much, Bosun. Agnes, your final thoughts?
Yes, maybe a comment on the real estate development. It's interesting. I'm not sure what Egypt is doing or what part of the northern part of Africa is doing that we in East African part or Central or West we're not doing. Real estate has been hardly hit by COVID-19, but we see a rise in profit in the country is quite interesting. Perhaps we could borrow a leaf or two from that economy. Again, on the telecom sector, this has fared fairly well across the region, and it's great to see the Egypt Telecom introducing a new service to the market.
Thank you very much, Agnes. I mean, it's good to hear your final thoughts. Perhaps that will give us some very fruitful week ahead. Thank you so much for your thoughts on all of these headlines today. Agnes Gital, partner at GPS Africa in the United Kingdom. But today you made appearance joining us from eastern part of Africa, Kenya precisely. Bosin Omofaye, our executive editor here at Frontier Africa Reports. Thank you so much for your analysis as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your presence on the program this morning. This has been the show for Monday, today, the 19th of July, 2021. I'm Temple Ashaji. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.